fly over states. It's a deeply condescending term used by the rich and the privileged who like to jet set back from coast to coast. That's what they call the 80% of the country in the middle. The part of the country they look down on, both figuratively and literally, as they look out of their window seat in first class. Of course, there are rich and privileged in the middle part of the country as well, and the part in between New York and Washington and San Francisco and Los Angeles. But there are also tens of thousands of hardworking men and women in the oil and gas industry, an industry that has been vilified. Ironically, they're vilified by the very same people who fly by 35,000 feet above, burning an immense amount of fossil fuel so they can get into a gas-guzzling SUV or luxury car upon arrival. Snaking down through the middle of the country from North Dakota to Texas is the partially completed Keystone pipeline. It transports oil from the tar sands of northern Alberta in Canada all the way down to the refineries of the Gulf Coast of Texas. Now, it's been debated how many people are actually employed working on the Keystone pipeline. The number 11,000 is thrown around a lot. Opponents of the pipeline say it's far less than that. Proponents say it's actually a whole lot more when you count the ancillary jobs. But it's a lot of jobs. Most of them high-paying union jobs, and now they're gone. Construction of the pipeline was canceled by President Joe Biden immediately after Inauguration Day, as promised. Like everything else nowadays, the 11,000 Keystone workers have been caught in the middle of the political divide. You see, the pipeline has become a primary target in the battle over how to deal with climate change. Liberals believe it's an existential threat that has to be dealt with immediately. Conservatives, those conservatives who believe in climate change, think we have time, say it's not that imminent of a threat that we can't transition to clean energy without drastic measures. President Biden, a former moderate, hasn't always been against the pipeline. In March of 2008, right after he took office, the Obama-Biden administration issued a $5.7 billion permit to begin construction of the Keystone pipeline. And shortly after that, the State Department issued an environmental impact statement saying construction and the pipeline itself presented no significant environmental threats. And yet in 2014, the Obama-Biden administration made a complete reversal on the pipeline. Why? He had his reasons. 100 million of them. On April 3rd, 2013, former President Obama attended a fundraiser in San Francisco thrown by then billionaire hedge fund manager and major Democratic campaign contributor, now former Democratic presidential candidate, Tom Steyer. At the fundraiser, Tom Steyer promised to donate $100 million to Democrats in the 2014 midterm elections if they stop construction of the Keystone pipeline. Despite the State Department issuing another study showing no significant environmental impact, President Obama canceled the Keystone pipeline. President Donald Trump restarted construction by executive order in 2017. President Biden ended construction by executive order in 2021. Thousands of jobs gained and lost by the ever-changing political tides. Now, Biden did offer green jobs for those left unemployed by the canceling of the pipeline, but that was a couple of weeks ago. And at a recent White House press briefing, Press Secretary Jen Psaki, when asked about the jobs, really didn't have an answer except to say, we're working on that. Details are coming.
He has every plan to share more about his details of that plan in the weeks ahead.
The truth is there's not enough green jobs in America for the Keystone workers who have specific skills in building pipelines and transporting oil, even though White House climate czar John Kerry insists, yeah, there are jobs.
Those folks have better choices, that they have alternatives, that they can be the people who go to work to make the solar panels. They were making them here at home.
Really? Here at home? Because 70% of the world's solar panels and most of the solar panels used here in America are made in China. And then right after the White House briefing where John Kerry lectured now unemployed former Keystone pipeline workers about making better choices, the climate czar boarded his private plane and flew back to Massachusetts. Let them eat cake has now been replaced by let them make solar panels. And there's more, much more. President Biden also banned drilling on all federal land and water. Drilling on federal land and water accounts for 22% of American oil production and 12% of natural gas production. So much for oil independence. It was nice while it lasted. The ban is estimated to cost just 8 Western states $8.1 billion in tax revenue, $34.1 billion in investments, and thousands of jobs over the next 5 years. Did I mention they're almost all red states that didn't vote for Biden for president? And all of the states that the Keystone Pipeline runs through are Republican states. You know, the flyover states. So much for unity and being the president of all people. I'm Larry Mendte. We'll talk again soon.
I will be a president for all Americans. All Americans.